Hi there, welcome to another episode of Two Poor Artists, where we are poor at taxidermy, but mostly we're poor at creating arts. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Benj. Today we're going to be drawing Nature of the Flesh, which is, of course, another great sermon title we got and decided to turn into a drawing. Um, Isaac's actually going to be drawing first for this one.
Just the fact that I have to draw something that has the word flesh in it is, you can just know right off the bat, this is not going to turn out pretty.
Yep. It's, there's really no way to draw something beautiful that has the word flesh in it.
But when you are going to draw flesh, you always have to start off with one of these.
Yeah, like a mushroom, right?
I guess it is kind of like a mushroom, but if you want to draw a skeleton, little known fact, you have to start off with a mushroom sometimes.
Mm.
And then you
I
give it
see.
eyes, and
So you're going with like the opposite of flesh,
yeah, and then you
like everything that's not the flesh.
Well, we'll get to the flesh in a minute.
Although our bones flesh, like it is human body. I don't know.
I'm gonna say no because, well, you'll see how I draw the flesh versus the bones. But if you want to draw a skeleton, you've got to start with the mushroom, and then you have the backbone chain hanging down from that, and a few ribs with a couple more chains linking it all together. I don't actually remember how many ribs we have. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? I can't really feel my ribs.
I'm just not good enough at counting. So
Yeah, we've got some ribs in there, and then you have to have an arm bone.
I'm gonna look up the definition of flesh because now I do wonder, like, are skeletons flesh?
I'm gonna say no. Oh gosh, yeah, I think this is how the arm is linked together, right? You've got one bone and then a second bone, and I'm just gonna go with the other arm. I'm not gonna bother with the hands right now.
Okay. So flesh is the soft substance consisting of muscle and fat that is found between the skin and bones of an animal or human. So it is not including the bones.
I'm so glad you looked that up.
Yep.
I've officially decided not to do hands on this skeleton because hands are difficult, and it's possible that this skeleton never even had hands.
Apparently, flesh can be a verb. Put on weight.
Oh gosh.
You fleshed out or whatever. Yep.
That looks like a pelvis, doesn't it?
I mean, figure anything can look like a pelvis.
Kind of like a bean on its side.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got to have the femurs. Everybody knows the femurs. Very famous bone, can't forget it.
Yep. According to Brian Regan, it's the most painful thing anybody can endure is breaking the femur.
Well, this guy hasn't broken his femur yet. See, my theory of drawing a skeleton is you have to have all the famous bones. You have the skull, you have the ribs, you have the backbone, you have the femur.
You have the
That's
hands and the feet.
You know, see, I'm gonna go with it. This skeleton just didn't have hands and feet when he died. No hands, no feet. Not in this world.
Okay.
That's the great thing about drawing is I can make this world whatever I want it to be. I think that's gonna be it for my skeleton.
Well, you did decide to break his femur.
Yep.
I see.
Yep, you convinced me. This skeleton has already undergone the worst pain imaginable.
Maybe that's what he died from.
It's possible. Although in this world, skeletons are still kind of, very much alive.
Oh,
But
that's much worse.
oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Let's get to the flesh portion of this, because after all, that is our title today.
Now that you've finished with the skeleton, I do notice that most of those ribs are not attached to anything.
It's just, you get the idea. If I tried to attach them, it would look like you had like a loop.
And like, I'm not an expert on how long necks are, but seems like a pretty
Just
long.
focus over here on the flesh. You ever seen those like?
I never want to focus on the flesh.
Just watch. Have you ever seen those like horrifying face masks that you can buy? That like they come in a package.
Like
And
a
they look-
ski mask.
Well, they look very flat and gelatinous, and they have cutouts for the eyes and nose, and apparently they're really, really good for you.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Or a ski mask. I guess it kind of looks like a ski mask too, but I'm gonna put some black in there so you know that you're just those are
Just
holes.
void.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll give it a nice fleshy looking arm and another fleshy looking arm.
Again, no hands, I see.
Well, this world, as I've already explained, just clearly doesn't have hands because
Or
hands,
feet.
hands and feet are hard to draw, especially
Yep.
flesh hands and skeleton hands.
Ha- As I said before, hands are the hardest thing to draw.
It's true. So we've got the skeleton guy and we've got the flesh guy. I don't really want to add any detail to this flesh guy. I
Like,
think it would be
is the skeleton guy throwing off his flesh? Is that what that arm movement is?
no. There's a confrontation happening here. You can tell
Oh.
because of the way the skeleton man is pointing at the flesh man.
Oh, so these are two separate living creatures in this world. This horrible, horrible world you've made.
I just realized he kind of looks like the creepiest gingerbread man ever.
Like, if you just tried to make a gingerbread man, but you didn't have a mold.
Well, it's like if you made a gingerbread man, but instead of gingerbread, you used flesh. But
Oh,
you can see how my
that's
skeleton
so
guy,
much worse.
my skeleton guy here, he's pointing at the flesh guy. There's some confrontation going on. He's pointing at him right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in this world, skeleton people and flesh people just can't stand the sight of each other.
Just the fact that they're skeleton people and flesh people is disturbing enough.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to visit. No hands, no feet.
Like,
But now we've got to get to the true nature of the flesh.
oh,
We have to get
the nature.
insight into his psyche, his personality, if you
Mhm.
will.
Oh, he's warm and squishy.
Well, yeah, that's what flesh people are. But that's not the point. This is a taunt.
Oh,
This is a taunt for the skeleton man. I'm so warm and squishy. But you wouldn't know anything about that. You see? Such animosity between these two. This is the true nature of the flesh.
I must say, like, just imagining like a war between flesh people and skeleton people is just one of the worst thoughts
Yeah.
I've ever given me.
I don't I don't want to give too much backstory into this world, but yeah, I think you get the point. Flesh people are just jerks. That's their true nature when they're talking to the skeleton people. And then, as I mentioned, this skeleton is clearly offended. You can tell by the way he's pointing. So we'll just add a little bit of skeleton dialogue. Try not to think too hard about how that works.
Can either of these creatures give emotions? Like, I mean, skeletons don't really have emotions, and the flesh people.
That's why you have to get it from their words only.
Gotcha.
Flesh just kind of wobbles around, and skeletons just kind of clatter around. But I think that's about it. If I try to add any more to this, it'll be more disturbing than it already is. But this is the true nature of the flesh.
Okay.
Now I just have to sit back and look at it for a second. Yeah, no, can't add anything more. Definitely not adding hands and feet. Just gonna put my name. Sort of looks like an eye. My name and age to make it an official piece of art. And then I can hand this on over to you.
Okay. I will gladly get rid of this drawing.
I can't imagine yours is going to be any less disturbing.
No, I wasn't planning on making it less disturbing. So yeah, basically, I mean, I'm gonna do something quite a bit different from yours, but
That could be good, or that could just be so much worse.
I mean, in some ways it might be similar, but it's gonna be going a completely different direction.
Like I said earlier, if you have to draw flesh, if the title has to have flesh in it, I don't think there's much hope for the piece.
Yeah, I'm sure there are artists out there that are like, "What are you talking about? We could draw a beautiful drawing of flesh," and I say to that, "You already disturb me." But
if there's anybody out there who wants to attempt a beautiful drawing of flesh, guess you can leave it in the comments.
Yep.
I do hesitate to ask that. But if you can do it better than us, by all means.
I mean, we don't doubt that you can do it better than us, but I do doubt that you can make flesh beautiful.
What is that?
Well, as you see here from these leaves I'm adding, this is the beginning of a tree here.
Oh yeah, it's your traditional tree shape.
Yep, the traditional tree shape. Which is basically just you draw broccoli, right? That's basically, I mean, broccolis and trees are basically the same, but then you add texture to the wood.
Oh yeah, no,
so that you know it's
totally see it now.
Yeah, because then it's not a broccoli, it's a tree.
See, it's another one of those things where I feel like there's probably someone out there who can add beautiful texture with a ballpoint pen, but us, not so much.
Yeah. So as you see, I've started with nature, and that's really the difference, I would say.
Is that a flesh tree like your zombie tree last time?
No. This is just a tree. Which, by the definition of flesh I looked up, it does not fit that.
That's good. If I had to think about trees having flesh, I don't think I'd ever go outside again.
Yeah, that would be weird. Although some could argue that like fruit might have flesh.
Is this you?
No, it's not me. It's just like he's gonna be like a photographer, like a nature photographer.
Oh, like in Pokemon Snap?
Yeah, exactly. This is like Todd.
Oh, it looks just like Todd now that I get a closer look.
Yeah, we gave him that hat that I think Todd probably wears.
Yeah.
And here I'm gonna give him a camera just so you know he's not just creeping into bushes.
How do you draw a camera?
Good question. Let's see. Maybe a rectangle and then a smaller rectangle. That seems like a camera to me.
I can see it. I can see a camera in there once you've told me and drawn the two rectangles.
Unfortunately, now I have to draw a hand because he's holding the camera.
See? Your world has hands. So much more difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually not half bad.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's holding a camera.
I get that he is holding a camera. If I watched this video on mute, I probably would not get that. But with all of our explaining, what is Todd doing?
He's just like hiding. Like I said, he's like a nature documentary.
What is that?
It's his leg. There's a little pocket there, so it's just like his shorts.
Perfect.
And now, see, it may look like he just has one leg and one arm, but that's the thing about perspective. His other arm and leg are just perfectly lined up.
Yes,
with that arm and leg.
I feel like we really need to look up what perspective is sometime.
No, perspective is the word that fixes all problems.
When you're drawing 2D pictures with our level of skill with a pen,
if something's not there or something is there, it's perspective's fault.
Well, at least you added some detail to the hat.
Yeah, it's got to be like a straw hat. Although I don't know if Todd wears a straw hat or not, but this version of Todd does.
You're just adding bushes now?
Yeah, hiding into bushes of love.
Yeah, that makes me want to go watch that song.
But as we've seen, we now have the nature documentary, so now it's time for the flesh. Because we're filming here the nature of flesh. That's the name of this documentary Todd is making.
What is that?
Yeah, it's the start of the flesh.
It's like a chicken leg.
Yeah, well, it's a leg.
I mean, that would be flesh.
Yeah, chicken leg would be flesh, and there's the other leg.
Oh, what happened to the perspective? Oh, no.
Yeah.
It does have that squiggly texture that my flesh had, at least.
Yeah. Mine kind of has hands, but there's no bones to keep the shape.
So much worse.
And then here's the flesh head thing, but
He's like, no. He's like Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas.
well, I mean, Oogie Boogie's kind of like a flesh
Is
creature.
he a ghost or a flesh?
You know, he's a flesh. Just, I mean, like you take out the bones, you lose a lot of the shape, right?
He looks like he's been scratched and pulled and run over a couple of
Well,
times.
that's because he can move. Like, imagine you lose your skeleton, and then you just kind of squirm around.
Squirm and flesh.
Your
This video is.
you kind of just get stretched out. Like, I mean, like, and as you're growing as a flesh creature,
They continue to grow.
yeah, like they grow as flesh creatures.
What is this now?
This is the other flesh.
Aw.
We're watching the nature of the flesh.
No.
So there's two flesh creatures.
If I saw a commercial for the new Discovery Channel documentary called Nature of the Flesh, and I saw these things, I would never turn on my TV again.
Well, that's probably a proper response.
What happened to that one?
The same thing happened to this one as the other one.
Their heads just flop back? What
Yeah.
is that?
Like they don't have a spine to keep their necks straight.
It's like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. He's like a flesh creature also.
Oh, they're both so happy, which somehow makes it so much worse.
They're happy to be flesh creatures.
This one's like kicking its leg in its happiness.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't really call it kicking because again, there's no bones, so it's not such a normal motion as kicking.
Oh gosh. Seriously, walking through the forest and stumbling upon these things.
Here's a tree I'm
What is
drawing.
that?
Well, this tree has a hole in it, so every tree with a hole in it has something living in
Did
it.
the flesh squeeze themselves into the hollow trees?
Let's not like answer any questions
Is that the
here.
true nature of the flesh? They just ooze out of any hole that's
Very well. Why
in
do
the
you
forest?
why do you think you've never seen a flesh? They're all oozed in the
It
trees.
truly makes me want to never, ever go out into the forest again. Oh, but at least it's a broccoli tree.
Yep. Gotta do the broccoli.
It's just like angrily looking out of the tree.
Well, it's not. It just looks angry because it doesn't have the proper ability to change its face structure.
What beautiful texture.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna do like a full landscape here. So I got the multiple trees here,
I'll admit, you went more elaborate than mine.
and you got to finish off that nature.
Oh, yes.
Got the
Is
clouds.
it really nature if there's no clouds?
And then here's the sun. But see, now here's the problem. As soon as you draw the sun, you just introduced the idea of light. So now you got to draw shadows to go with the light.
Oh, yeah. That's the main problem I noticed with this picture.
Yeah.
Is the lack of shadows.
Yep, so now we got to shadow everything. So this tree got a shadow. And see, even if you were to give me the proper tools, I would not do a good shadow.
Shadowing's hard. It's almost as hard as drawing hands.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you just have a ballpoint pen.
Are you going to
Yeah,
match
cool.
the shape of this flesh
I-
creature?
Matching is a strong word. But I'm gonna,
I mean, I guess shadows aren't, like, perfect, but...
yeah, let's just remember that. Shadows aren't perfect.
I would be willing to bet that nothing we draw could be considered perfect.
Like, see, we can't erase, but you'll notice that a lot of my shadow is actually upside down. So, like, see how his hand correctly points down, and then the shadow of the hand correctly points up. But then his foot, the shadow also points down.
I don't know if impressed is the right word for how I feel about these, because it's mostly just a bunch of squiggles at the bottom of the page that we're trying to explain as something good. Oh, I see the leg at least.
Yep.
The happy kicking leg.
And we got this tree as
Oh
a
my
shadow.
gosh, it's never ending.
Everything
It's
has
never
a shadow.
ending. You are never to draw a sun in your pictures again.
Man.
It's too complicated.
Todd needs a shadow.
Yeah, we can't forget about Todd.
I mean, technically,
I mean, yeah, he's hiding
he's
behind
hiding
the
his
bush.
bushes.
Yeah, but
the
there's
bushes don't have
no
a shadow.
shadows.
Just Todd has a shadow.
Well, see, the thing is, if you drew the bush's shadow, we just wouldn't be able to see Todd anymore.
Yeah. Todd
Is
would be
it-
covered up by the bushes shadow.
Is it done?
Yeah, I mean, I think now's a good time to end it. But I'm actually gonna break the rules
Oh my gosh.
right away here. This is what the third video on breaking the rules.
In case you all aren't aware, we are very simple with our rules. We have a ballpoint pen, and we can't erase.
Yeah, but when you put shadows all over the entire bottom, there's no room for a title. So I'm just gonna erase some of that shadow so I can put a title.
I suppose it does need a title.
Um,
And I'll be honest, it's not like this erasing is making the picture any better at all.
I didn't do a good job erasing. I didn't improve anything.
Yeah, nature of the flesh. I don't know that I've ever been more happy to be done looking at one of our drawings before. These things are going to show up in my nightmares tonight.
Yep.
Well, at least you left some room for your name and age, so it can be an official piece of art.
Yep, you always gotta put name and age.
We learned that from the best of them.
Yep, so that's gonna do it for both of the drawings today.
Thanks for tuning in, and if you made it this far, we are sorry. But hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yep. Adios. Just adding in a little bit more shadow real quick.
No! Let it end!